All right, we are approaching day 300 of my review on Inbound Closer. The whole IBC program, the whole industry. I started basically 10 months ago taking Taylor Welch's course, Inbound Closer. I took the certification as well. Also took the Done For You program. What else is there? There's a few other courses within that program. Started off with $9,700, and then it went up. I believe the certification was $2,000 US. So this is a little bit of my thoughts after 300 days. So if you're interested in becoming an inbound closer, hopefully you can take this with a grain of salt and hear it from the perspective of someone that was actually on the inside, although brief. So let's start. I'm going to try not to make this video too long, but as you know, probably like you, I saw the ad from Inbound Closing show up. This would have been back in November. I noticed it popped up how you can actually become an inbound closer, and within 21 days you can start getting $980 checks. Sound familiar? So I thought, you know what, we're approaching Christmas. There's a pandemic going on. It might be an interesting time to learn about what is this inbound closer thing. And so I purchased a course, went through all the material, and like I mentioned, you could probably check out day 150. That one video exploded. I think there's like over 13,000 views on that one. But I go into depth based on my perspective back then. I think I was only just a few months in. So this is almost a year later. So I took the course, became a certified inbound closer. And then the idea was, once you got certified, that there was a handshake that was taking place where the sales mentor group would actually introduce you to all of their clients that are tripping over themselves trying to find an inbound closer. So when you get into the group, there are, it was a Facebook group, I'm still part of it. There are people that are looking for inbound closers. There just are. That part is 100% true. There are people around the planet that are actually looking for salespeople. Duh. What I found out was you needed a certain level of experience. And this is important, calling yourself an inbound closer is kind of a slap in the face to the people that you're trying to work for. They don't like that. They don't like it at all. Do not call yourself a closer. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes the term closer. I didn't know that. I built my whole channel around that idea, but I didn't know that on the inside, closers are kind of like losers. They're considered losers. So that was kind of an eye-opener as well, because if you're on LinkedIn and you're reaching out to people and you start saying, I'm an inbound closer, it leaves a sour taste in everyone's mouth. So don't do that. Just drop that. This is interesting because I thought it was a cool niche, inbound closer. It sounded so mystical and everything, but really at the end of the day, it's still a salesperson. You still need to make cold calls. You still need to do dials, probably hundreds of dials a day. You still need to reach out to businesses. You got to be competent. Your business IQ needs to be up there as well. You have to have all this stuff. Some people call it telemarketing, all this. But I think what really stood out to become an inbound closer was the idea that you can sit at home or anywhere in the world part-time. part-time, and this is what perked my interest. I like the idea, because I was working full-time, I like the idea of doing something for 2 to 4 hours a day. So stick with me on this one, because this is very important. You purchase a course for $97 with the hopes that you can get a part-time gig where you can actually take your laptop, your phone, go to a food court or maybe a restaurant somewhere and chit-chat with on the phone that people are actually reaching out to you, begging you to sell them a program, a coaching, a consulting program, whatever it is, online. That's how it was presented. And maybe I was a little bit naive, but that's why I wanted to share this video and give you a bit of an update and all this stuff, because in reality, you need to have experience talking on the phone. So how do you get that experience unless you actually do it? So I actually became a sales sniper. So feel free to check out I'm at Ryder's channel, Sales Sniper. Company's exploding. I think last month they did like $300,000 upfront, paid in fulls, all this kind of good stuff, which is awesome. That's great. But they're not an organization for brand newbies, brand new people. So if sales is something new to you, if it's brand new and you've never done any sales before, it could be a little bit overwhelming for you to join one of these organizations. You have to have experience. So how do you get experience? Well, one of those ways is to actually work for free for an organization for X amount of time, and then become an appointment setter where you can make, between $50 and $200 for every appointment you set if the closer closes the deal. Then it goes from there. You're not going to make a ton of cashola, and you're not going to be able to do that part-time. That's very clear. I have to make that very clear. There is no such thing as part-time at the beginning. Maybe later, because what you would do is, if you have your calendar full, say you have 8 calls to do in a day, that's an 8-hour day. If you knock off those 4 calls and put them on another day, you're only going to do 4 calls that day. That becomes part-time. But what's going to happen is you're going to get pressure from the upper levels, the upper echelon, to ask you why you didn't fill up your pipeline with calls for 6 to 8 hours. And get ready, there's probably going to be a dog bark. Not yet. Okay. Anyways, so the expectation is to work minimal 6 hours. If somebody tells you 2 to 4 hours, they're lying to you. It's not. It's higher than that. If you're just starting out and you want to get into this, making 20 to 100 phone calls a day, cutting your teeth, is not good enough. You have to make 100 or more calls, especially when it comes to appointment setting, triages, all that kind of stuff, because you got to get the volume. You got to get that up there. Otherwise, you're just going to get eaten up. So you're going to have to spend some time memorizing your script as well. Whether it's your sales script, your pitch, your presentation, depending who you're talking to. Some people don't like pitch. Some people don't like presentation. It goes on and on. But basically, when you're on a phone call with a prospect and you're getting to that point where they're going to decide whether or not they want to give you their credit card or not, that's what I'm talking about. You need to be good at that. You need to be good at memorizing your script and going over. I still go through my script, 5 to 10 times a day, because that part never goes away. And that's the part that I glean from that experience of calling people, cold calling, all that kind of stuff. I use that for my video production business, because you got to learn how to have a system. So I will never regret any of the systems that I've learned from Sales Sniper, Sales Mentor, Grant Cardone, Jordan Belfort, all that kind of stuff. They all work. Dan Locke, they all work. It's just different levels of aggressiveness, if you will. Some of them are basically, they beat you up until you say yes. Some of them ask you the right questions so that you feel like you've actually been sold, that you're actually selling yourself. So there's all kinds of systems out there. You just have to pick one. But my whole point in this whole video is to let you know that it's not easy. You can't do it part-time. And there are high expectations, exactly like a salesperson. If you took any sales job, which I've had tons of sales jobs, there's no difference. You need a KPI set up, and you got to match those. If you don't reach those KPIs, you're gone. If you don't close, let's just say above 20%. So you have 10 calls this week, you close 1 or 2, chances are you're not going to make it as an inbound closer. You're just not. Because it should be up to about 60%. You know, if you're some people like Marco or Matt, it could be as high as 90, 95%, because these guys they're awesome at what they do. Taylor Welch, Peyton Welch, these guys are phenomenal at what they do, but they're not doing exactly what you're doing. They're coaching. They've done what you want to done. Let me be clear. But they're at a different level because they're actually managing teams of coaches, consultants, all this kind of stuff. They're way up there. For you coming in as a newbie, starting off with $97, that's probably not a bad place to be. Just be prepared for all the upsells as well. You know, they can go as high as 20 grand. I'm not kidding you. And if you're not prepared for that, if you're not prepared for the upsells, you're going to be in over your head with your credit cards. You're going to be flipped upside down within months. So you have to be careful of that. And I hope this makes sense. I hope I've showed you enough clarity that you have to be mindful every step of the way. Is the material fantastic? It's amazing. The material is amazing, and the sky's the limit with courses. You can buy endless amounts of courses, but at the end of the day, if you get nothing out of this video, you still got to be competent and comfortable enough to pick up the phone and talk to a complete stranger, because these are strangers to you. They may not be strangers to the organization, but they're strangers to you, and you have to be comfortable making videos about yourself. Because I didn't even get into, you're gonna have to send out video resumes. You're gonna have to do Zoom calls. So you have to get comfortable in front of the camera. That's why I built this whole YouTube channel, is to get comfortable speaking in front of a camera, 30 days out of the month. Sometimes I upload 2-3 videos in a day. That's to get comfortable speaking in front of a camera. That's pretty much all I have to say. Hopefully you get a lot out of this video. Please comment. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Comments are appreciated. I will read every comment on this video, I promise. I'll get back to you as well. If you have any questions, concerns, whatever, you could always email me at inceptioncloser@gmail.com, and I will reply courtesy email. Thanks a lot for watching this, and I'm going to go for a hike. See you later.